Hello, and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? How was your girls' trip?
My girls' trip was excellent.
Yeah.
I loved it. We're nice. It was like 2 nights. The weather was not spectacular, but other than that, I had a very fun time. Went to some nice restaurants, went out, dancing.
Dance with your girls.
Dancing with my girls.
That's the thing we don't get as
great.
men.
It's
we don't
a shame,
get that. It is a
so
shame.
Fun.
Like what am I gonna do? Let's go out and dance, guys.
We bribed a bouncer to cut a line. It was like, back in the day, but except for like we used to just get in with our looks. Now we're old and we pay.
It's that Leslie Mann scene.
Yes, basically.
In This Is 40.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
So now, now we pay for that privilege. But
fun time.
Resources have changed. It used to be youth, and now it's money.
The resources have changed. It's so funny. That's a great T-shirt. For Betcha's moms or something, resources have changed.
Yes.
I love it.
We're different game now. But
no, I enjoyed seeing the pictures. I mean, listen, we talked about this before. You have a drink at the Breakers if you can. Like you just gotta see. I saw you were there, and I was like, it's just a sight to see. To sit there and be at that bar, it's just like it is
very fancy.
Fancy.
Yes. Quite fancy. Very well manicured. Very clean.
Palm Beach, it is fancy. No, beautiful. That's so great.
Very nice. If it were a little bit warmer, it would have been the perfect trip.
Is everyone in relationships? Is it everyone married?
Yes.
And so you go out dancing. Mm-hmm. There's everyone's just like we dance with each other. Like what the heck? Do men approach?
On occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Say hello.
Yoo-hoo! And then wave the ring. I love it.
Yeah, it worked. It's nice. I like it's nice to have a little girls trip. You miss your partner, which is that's it's an important thing to be able to have enough space to miss someone, I think.
Absolutely. You know how many people during COVID were like that was like probably the biggest problem they had? Just being on top of their partner with no
get to miss them.
Let me get you said that I think a few times during
it's a lot.
the COVID podcast. Yeah.
No, 100%. If you're with each other all day, it becomes like everything's a little routine. It's nice to get away, and then it's so funny. I still have, even from my dating days, I still have that need to be fucked with a little bit. I texted Mike the night we got there. I said something like, I'll find it.
Yeah.
It was
that's the thing. That's a good part of a relationship to me. Like the need, the need to be fucked with. Like it just shows you're still alive, breathing, right?
Yeah.
That actually, like if someone told me about their relationship, I go, that's good for you. Maybe from his side, not so much. He's like, oh, I gotta get fucked with.
Right.
But
I don't think he likes it as much as I do. I said, how's the weekend going? So that he got there, you guys said, just woke up. And then he didn't answer for like half an hour. He said, just woke up from a nap. How's Palm Beach? I said, fun but cold. LOL. He doesn't say anything to me for the rest of the night.
Nothing.
The next morning, I call him. He didn't answer. And then
he was I was dancing with my boys.
He calls me back an hour later. I'm like, what is going on? Are you playing hard to get? This is like very hot. He's like, I just woke up from a nap. You're a lunatic.
Yeah.
I'm like, you barely answered my text last night. He's like, I answered. And I'm like, and then I said something and you didn't say anything back. He's like, I didn't even ask a question.
Right. I like it.
It's like we're dating again. This is fun.
This is the cat and mouse game is back.
Yeah, I liked it a little bit.
Man, if he had thumbs up reacted to your text, you would have gone wild.
No, on the phone, I was like, where the fuck have you been? This is it's got.
That's great. I think that's nice. I think there's like a little, you need a little friction to create a spark.
Yeah, I agree. And then I'm like, I gotta get home. I gotta see what the fuck he's doing there.
Right.
It's not, it's just not texting me all day.
What the fuck is going on here? Having fun without me?
Exactly. No having fun without me.
Right.
Yes.
Love it.
What about you?
Well, let me give a little bit of. I went on oversharing.
You did. We told you it was happening. It's gonna be out. It's out right now.
It's out, and we put a clip on this feed. So if you want to go listen to that, and to me, it is a. Let's go to Plug City for a second. It's a plug for oversharing because I love the show. You and Dr. Naomi, the dynamic is perfect. Dr. Naomi is truly empathetic.
She's so empathetic. The way, it's funny because we both are talking about the same thing, but I even just see the way she's just talking in such a kinder way than I ever speak to anyone.
Right.
You know when someone says something nice and you're like, I guess I could have said something nice like that, but I just didn't even, it's just not how I speak. But like it's nice.
But it's nice to get both of you there for that, and it was a fun conversation. It was a difficult one for me, but it was also a lot like what we talk about on You Up with Benefits.
Yes.
So
it's a good plug for You Up with Benefits. For
both
sure.
of those.
Yes.
So if you were thinking of like, hey, well, maybe I'll join You Up with Benefits. I've never paid for a podcast. Go listen to that, and that's a lot like the dynamic that we have, the personal nature of our conversation. So you can go on Spotify, search You Up with Benefits, or you can go on Apple, just hit that button. So and it's $3 a month for 2 extra podcasts a month, and you get the episodes early. It's growing. I didn't know how. Our benefits, we have a large benefits audience.
We have a lot of benefit subscribers. People really, we get intimate on those things. That's why we dread recording them.
Right.
It's very vulnerable moments for us. So, but if you want to taste, check out the oversharing episode. We loved having you on. Afterwards, she texted me. She was like, I'm so glad we did that. That was really great.
It was great. It was fun. And the triggered section is so fun.
It's great. You bring definitely a different vibe to that section. It's like, I'm excited to see what the listeners think. They're like, I didn't come to therapy to be bullied.
Let me apologize. Sorry, Sari.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, you'll know.
You know.
Right.
Yeah,
So, I thought it was funny. So that's out there. And also, let me just give a note. Since we're in the streets of Plug City, I'm coming to Europe. That's right. I'm coming to Europe. The Europe dates are out. Yes. You can buy tickets, assemble the group chat, the WeChat, as you call it.
The what chat?
They do WeChat there, don't they? Aren't they big?
WhatsApp?
WhatsApp? Oh, I've been saying it wrong? Like an idiot this whole time?
What, you thought it was called We?
I thought it was WeChat.
WeChat is what they use in China.
Oh!
Yeah, WhatsApp is more of a Europe
No
thing.
wonder I kept my TikTok ads were different.
Where did you even hear of this?
I just know they use, they use, I know internationally we are known for just texting and they're known
everyone
for
else uses WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. So get the WhatsApp group together and assemble them. London. I
hope the guy with the tampon is coming. He better be.
He better fucking come after we
tampon in his jeans.
Yeah, bring the tampon.
You saved it.
I want to see some souvenirs. So if you're listening right now, I'm going to be in Vegas this weekend, and then I'm going to be in Perrysburg, Ohio, Vancouver, Irvine, Indianapolis, Oklahoma City. Then here we go: Dublin, Belfast, London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam, Berlin, Oslo, and then I'm back to Nashville, Tennessee. So I'm really excited about this. This is going to be...
I'm very excited for you.
It's going to be cool. An international comedian. I hope they understand my comedy. We'll see.
Are you flying Delta One?
I better be. I haven't made those arrangements yet, but I'll be on the phone with Delta very soon. I'm excited. I don't know if I'm going to extend before or after.
You got to extend.
Yeah.
And this is in April, May?
May, and then...
Great time.
They said this is the time that you have to go because they basically... I've had very nice people DM me, be like,
go to Italy after.
I think I might.
The Italians are a lot nicer to Americans than the French.
Way nicer. Yeah, I won't be stepping foot in France until we get they get their shit together.
Are you banned from their country? Are you on the?
I can't eat the radishes anymore. No, people send very nice messages like, "Come here, come here." These things are done with like companies and there's a lot of planning that goes in. So these dates are solidified. This is where I'm going. I'm not coming to your like living room in whatever city you live in Europe. Like, if you can make a trip out of it, you can. If you listen to this podcast with someone, I'm gonna be there putting on a show. jaredfree.com for tickies. But yeah, I'm going to extend in either direction. We're going to figure it out. I'm excited. It's like, I think my parents might come. I mean, if you thought the videos of them in Boca were funny, wait till you see them walk around Europe.
In Germany?
Yeah, in Berlin. Right. So yeah, I'm excited, and just get the
I'm excited
tickets.
for
yeah.
you.
And more to
I
come.
might come. Who knows?
Come, let's do it. Come on.
And
Also,
check out the YouTube.
oh, the YouTube. Let me just say, we always beg for YouTube subscribers. It's doing well.
Yes.
The views to subscribers ratio, which I've been told, like, that's kind of how you have to look at it, is very good. Like, there are people are like, they must be enjoying it because it's been pretty consistent with that.
It is. And it's a great venture on our part. I've heard we've made hundreds of dollars.
Love it.
On there.
Oh my God.
That's the
you
word
can pay me?
That's the word from the revenue department is that they're, we made over 2 figures.
That's how these walls got built. Every day, every dollar. So if you're out there and you want to subscribe, help us out. Please. Please, God. Please. The YouTube.
Check it out.
It's
great.
Just subscribe.
I love when people tag us in their stories and they're watching it on their TVs. It's amazing.
It looks amazing. That's the thing. I don't like good work to go to like.
Exactly. I put on makeup for this.
People.
I sometimes do my hair, not today.
Jordana is putting on makeup for this. Okay.
Yes.
If you don't fucking subscribe right now, I'm looking at you. I'm looking right into the camera. At the people already subscribed, I'm looking into a camera at the people I shouldn't be yelling at.
They already know. Well, maybe if they're not on there, they'll go on just to see you your stern face,
my angry face. So I sent something to you before, and I kind of want to. Can we quickly look at this?
Let's discuss it.
I want to discuss this because it is very much in the nature of this podcast, like where we deal with dating issues that are issues, but also like we give a reasonable response to them. And this, I'm not sure if
they should play. Can we play the audio?
Let's play the audio. Their name is Cassie Wilson. It looks like she's a comedian. Let me start by saying it's a funny video.
Very funny. I laughed.
It's very funny. But we're going to discuss it. So now, like,
how did it do? How many?
It's got 1.5 million on Instagram Reels.
Oh, that's legit.
And she's, everyone should follow Cassie because she's obviously very funny and talented. At Cass the Rock Wilson. So we'll go to Plug City with her. And she has this very funny video. But I do think there's a lesson in it. I don't mean to be like fucking, the turd in the punch bowl. But like I got sent this video and I was like, I get the joke. It's very funny. But I was like, let's not dance on the grave of men so willingly,
Well, let's play. Also, if you go to our Instagram account, the UA Podcast Instagram account, we're gonna share the whole TikTok so you can see the visuals behind what she's saying.
Absolutely.
I am a dude on a dating app. Do you like these pictures of me? I want a girl who's hot and cool, but she can't take herself too seriously. She should have a job and be super chill and surely be shorter than me. But the number one and most important thing is that she doesn't take herself too seriously.
Yeah, she's obviously a musical comedian. She's very good.
Mean, she's very. Her voice is also very good. Like, can she write us a U Up?
The jingle.
Jingle,
right? Maybe. I mean, so she basically points at a bunch of men's profiles and they all say the same thing.
Right, looking for someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously.
Right. What did you think when I sent you this video? Because it got sent to me a few times with like, what do you think? And I'm like,
it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it to the extent that it goes to all the things that we talk about this show, it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want someone who's going to where the pressure to be in a relationship is immediate and intense.
Right.
But it's funny. It's kind of like to say that to me says like, I want someone who's like not going to be like nagging, like mad at me or nagging me about like not committing.
That's interesting. It's so funny you go that way because I understand that. I don't think you're wrong, but it is. As a man on a dating app, as a man who's looking from the other side, I'm looking through the other side of the window, so to speak. Yeah. We see repeats too. It's always going to be funnier to make fun of a man on a dating app than a woman.
What are the male repeats that you see?
Well,
or the woman.
The female repeats. I mean, you're seeing fluent in sarcasm.
So they're saying the things we think you want to hear.
Right. Well,
I don't take myself too seriously. I'm fluent in sarcasm.
Well, here's the thing. This is the feedback from this. If I was to, if you're a woman who's like, how can I make myself more approachable on a dating app? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of this is written, don't take yourself too seriously, because so many answers on Hinge, especially, are, I want you to be a gentleman. I want you to love your family. I want you to be a good man who opens the door and makes a plan. And you go, you don't have to say that shit.
We always advise against that, right?
We've said that.
Because everyone thinks they are those things also.
You're not starting a conversation. There's no fun in that.
Right.
So,
but also every woman probably thinks she doesn't take herself too seriously.
When I read that, that is someone who's taking dating too seriously. Yeah. They're taking meeting someone on an app too seriously. So if we want to boil it down, if you want to say all men are fucking idiots who repeat themselves, that I get the joke and I'm for the joke. But if you want to like take away something from this, like if you want to listen to the other side and go, hey, I want to get matches that are there for the party. And listen, you got to be protective. You have to understand that, a lot of those men are looking for casual. Let's admit to that. But I will say, as a guy on a dating app who's on there to like...
Is that one of your prompts?
Mine says looking for a gentle woman
who doesn't take herself too seriously.
No, I've never. No, but I think I can't give feedback to the people who don't listen to this show.
Right.
So it is funny when I read that. I go, yeah, there's a lot of women who do take themselves too seriously. And they're not saying like I think the way it's being made fun of is not the way I think there's a miscommunication.
We're seeing it. Okay.
Right, because when I want a gentleman and when it's you statements, that's someone who's not having fun with this.
Right.
When it's I statements and it's vulnerability, and you're saying I like to wake up late on a Sunday and eat pizza for breakfast, I go, okay, now we got something here. Now this is someone who's not on here going, you better wear your fine shoes and have a gentleman moment. You see it all the time. I can go to millions.
Yeah, someone who's having fun, who's positive,
right?
Who's good. I see with it. I think the phrase "looking for someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously" I don't think that's a great thing for a man to have on the app. Right. But I can understand the want for someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously. But it's like, don't ask for it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's saying versus showing.
Right. Just don't swipe on the people with the super serious.
Right.
With the super serious prompts.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I guess it goes like both ways,
right.
Obviously if you're seeing this over and over again, I'm not saying to date those guys who write it, but understand if your profile might be coming off that way to the people who don't write that.
Yeah.
I'm not writing that.
I've heard that a lot, actually, from men on dating apps. Sometimes the bios or the prompts are so intense or so like serious,
right?
That it feels like either this person's not going to be fun, or this. In theory, the people want to date someone who wants those things,
of course,
but they want it to be like one of the many things that they want.
It's
like not the whole thing.
It's the lack of vulnerability because, it's saying versus showing again, because it goes, if you're on a dating app, I'm going to assume you want to meet a gentleman. I'm going to assume you're looking for something serious with someone that you really hit it off with. No one is stupid. And the guy who you say, well, he never makes a plan, he knows how to make a fucking plan. So if you're writing these things, you are doing the work for someone that you don't even want to date.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys are doing. They're doing the work for someone they don't want to date right now.
I'll give you a good example of, because it's funny that this conversation came up because I was talking to a man on dating apps and he sent me a screenshot.
So you went on the apps when Michael didn't text you back and...
Oh, did that come off like that? Yeah. So I downloaded Hinge and I was, in the... No.
Right.
I was talking to a friend.
Yeah.
Who was basically giving me the same sentiment, not the, I don't want to date someone who's taking themselves too seriously without saying that.
Right.
But he sent me a good example.
Good. I was just looking at my phone to find one.
Of what the women's prompts are that kind of just give this vibe of like, this feels very tense.
And and my dad says this all the time. It's not who's messaging your website. It's the people that didn't care enough to message your website.
Right. The people who were just like, ugh, pass.
Fuck it.
Right?
So this guy is a friend of yours, so I'm assuming he's a good guy.
Yes.
I'm assuming he doesn't have written in his profile people that don't take themselves too seriously. So you're not even... We're not making fun of the same people here, but this is a lesson. I'm telling this is what this podcast is for, and that's why I was happy to talk about
this kind of message is, I think, why people also do the don't take themselves too seriously. We'll get along if you like talking about societal issues, prefer conversations of emotional depth, i.e. transparency, authenticity, and vulnerability, have learned a lot from your past, have a passion for progressive change, and a high EQ.
I think I've seen that profile. And let me just say, I had the same thought of ugh, and
right. Well, he said so many girls have some variation of this, and I'm like, can you relax and laugh a little? It feels intense, even though like the individual pieces make sense.
To boil it down, it's a you statement. Wrong.
Yes, wrong.
We don't give out a lot of rules. I would say if I see you statements, that's not vulnerability. That's you pointing at me, not looking in the mirror.
Right.
And who would ever say the opposite of those things?
That's what I'm saying. Who's saying, oh, I hate vulnerability, transparency, have not learned anything from my past, don't have a passion for non-progressive change,
right,
and a low EQ.
And if you right, and if you are someone who says all those things, like if you say I've never learned from my past, you're also not the person who gives a shit about your fucking, write-up.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's a funny video that also contains learning moments for everyone.
Right. But I mean, you have to, a lot of the people who are writing that are people who feel like they've been burned. They're trying to be
scared.
like, yeah. And they're like, I don't want to come off like I'm not taking this seriously because I want someone who is taking this seriously.
Right. It's an overprotection.
Right. It's an overcorrection for those kinds of people who are, and the thing is, you can show someone in person that you're looking for something serious.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't, I think when you start with the things feeling that tight, it just doesn't make it a fun, funny, light conversation, which is how you want the beginning of dating to feel.
And let me just say, if you don't make a change, if you keep it and you're like, Jared and Jordana, you can go fuck yourselves, fine. But here's when I would match with you. If you're hotter than you are, not fun. So, so.
But then you're just looking to hook up.
So you're getting the worst guy anyways. Right. So if someone, because I will speak for myself, if I was like, look at these answers, but holy fucking shit. Right. A man will not be talked out of hot. You might be, not him. So if he's attracted to you, he will ignore all those things if he's just looking to hook up. So you're not even fixing your problem.
Right.
So, I don't know. Interesting. I'm happy you had that one from your friend.
Same.
Let's do the email. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. I'll read the email. Hey, J&J, love all that you do. I'm a big fan of the show for a long time, so I'll try to keep this short. I'm writing this one in because I genuinely can't tell if I'm being unreasonable or not. LOL. Backstory, I've been with my boyfriend for about a year and a half. We were both in our mid-20s, me 26, him 25. The current dynamic of our relationship is that I've been renting a one-bedroom tiny apartment for the past year. And while this apartment is tiny and he could never move in even if he wanted, he is still here 5 to 6 nights a week because he lives with his parents still. Womp womp. However, he would move out if he could. But that's where the catch is. He feels there's nothing he can do. I think he needs to consider looking into other avenues of income. My boyfriend is still in school to be an electrician working under a union, but that union says when he can and can't work, go to school, vacation, etc. While he explained this to me early in our relationship, I wasn't all that concerned. He was working at the time and promised he's never been off for more than a few weeks at a time. Well, it's been over 6 months. While he did do a partial semester, 3 days a week for 8 weeks only in the morning, LOL, of school, he has not and will not take it upon himself to look for other sources of income. He used to have his own side hustle of detailing cars, which he doesn't feel like doing. There are tons of job postings for retail and serving. Since we live in a tourist area, we both have connections that could likely end in employment, etc. But he just believes he'll get the call any day now, LOL. We have discussed moving in together and splitting these costs and have had fight after fight because I feel so tired and defeated for being the only one paying these living expenses currently. However, he genuinely can't do anything about it while he gets $300 a week on unemployment insurance. I told him my breaking point will be in March. I've scheduled my breaking point for March when you're going to get it. If he does not take it upon himself to figure it out, but I can't tell if I'm being unreasonable. I haven't really pulled the brunch table because I feel so bad making my boyfriend sound like a deadbeat, but my mom thinks I need to cut him some slack. However, I have worked so hard before we met to establish my career so I could have the lifestyle I wanted, including working full-time while doing my master's and even working 2 full-time jobs for just under a year to save as much money as I could for a house one day. Are our different ideas of acceptable work ethic a deal breaker? Sincerely, no scrubs.
I love this email.
I think it's a great one.
It's a great predicament. I love that the mom somehow made an appearance, a little cameo, cut him some slack. I have a lot of thoughts because of the ages too.
Because they're young?
Well, 25 is when I started doing comedy. So
you were him?
I wasn't him. I'm in a very lucky position. I was in a luckier position than it sounds like he's in.
Were you making any money?
No.
Okay.
I was doing open mics and saying yes to everything. But I guess we're different as like someone might see my hustle as like, or the hustling I was doing as potential.
Well, this is a more non-linear path.
Right.
Than him. Although
Mine is a more non-linear path.
Right,
yeah. And you're not sure what will come next. And he's in school. Yeah. He's part of the union. These are all like good things. And I mean, it is interesting that like if I were him and I was him in a certain sense, even though I wasn't living with my parents and I had savings to do certain things, to do things the way I did them. I remember thinking I wouldn't be able to be with someone because I can't promise them the next step. Like not feeling great about that. Right. And even if I like someone, I would end it being like, listen.
It doesn't seem like he has that issue though.
Well, that's the thing. That's where the opposite comes in because it's like, he's comfy. He's comfy cozy. I'm going to do what I want to do. And he was comfy cozy with her when she was doing she wrote, I got my master's and made sure I was in the position to do all these things. So while you were studying and saying you couldn't do stuff, he was cool with that. And things changed.
But where were they hanging out? Was he staying? Like, cause it feels like she kind of thinks he's like mooching off of her, that he's staying, she's paying for this apartment. He's staying there 5 or 6 nights a week. He's essentially living with her without paying any rent. To me, it sounds like he's technically living with his parents. But if you're staying in someone's apartment 5 or 6 nights a week, you're kind of living with them. Right.
I guess goes back to the comfy cozy thing because he's like, this is the relationship I like having. Like I'm going back at her because she's like asking him to be something he has never been.
Well, you can still ask and see if he can rise to the occasion. She's kind of like, I'm getting older. I have my shit together. I want a certain, and this is almost like a lifestyle question.
Right.
Like, do you want the same lifestyle as me? Because she's saying, yeah, he's in school, but he's not really doing that much. Mm-hmm. So she's like, he could be working more. He could find a part-time job and be working more and move in with me and pay some of the rent.
Right.
Like officially. And I get why this is kind of like a turnoff. It's like this person, you're leading you have a lifestyle that you want, and this person doesn't really seem to be like working that hard.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking when reading this about our conversation on oversharing, and you used the word that I was thinking, turnoff. Yeah. Like it's okay for her to be like, I'm kind of turned off by who he is and who he's tracking towards becoming.
Yeah, and what he's okay with.
What he's okay. Yeah, what makes him comfy cozy.
And that can happen. I feel like 25, 26 is sort of the age in which you find out what someone's like work ethic is, what someone's lifestyle expectations are, like how they feel about what they take versus what they give.
And she's seeing it.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing her email doesn't say. I'm turned off.
Well, she said, in March, I'm going to reach my breaking point.
Well, it's like, it is funny though, that she could go to him and be like, I'm turned off. And I think and I was thinking about our conversation on oversharing because I was like, that's something I don't allow myself to do sometimes, is to go, I'm turned off and that's why I'm moving on from this situation.
Right.
And when you get turned off by someone you're dating, it feels like meaner for some reason. Like if
because it's like I've already committed to dating this person. I don't want to be like turned off by them.
And that, and you go, I guess I'm like, if they had gone left instead of right, I would have been turned on versus off. It feels so like dual. It feels like binary, too binary.
Okay.
Because you're like, well,
Should be something in the middle. Yeah.
right.
Well, that's why she's like, oh, here are all these. Like, maybe she's like, I'm turned off that I'm paying the rent, but might be okay if he was like working,
Right.
or like, and I didn't feel like I was paying the rent and he's going to 3 hours of school a day.
I think that's what she's got to say to him. I think she has to put it in those terms. And instead of the nagging comes in where you go, when are you going to, there's a lot of server jobs around. And it's like, it's not what he's doing, it's how he's doing it.
Or how it's affecting her.
Right.
Where she's like, I think it's totally not an unreasonable, as she says, thing to say, like, I'm looking for someone. I feel like I've worked really hard to get to this point. I'm looking for someone who's also looking to work really hard to have a similar lifestyle as me. And maybe you don't care about that lifestyle, or maybe like this is comfortable for you, but it's not comfortable for me.
I agree with that. And I guess in addition to that, you go, it's back to what you said before. Like, it's 25. You're seeing, this is what he is like. And you're going, oh, wow, I'm running around the track and you're walking. I want someone to run with me.
Maybe we're not a match.
We might not be a match. And the cut him slack thing from the mom is funny to me, because she's just like, we know this guy, he's nice, keep him.
Right.
Like the mom isn't, the one that has to get in bed with him and try and be attracted to him. The mom's going, it's a man. He's here.
He's not terrible to you.
Right. We like him.
Right.
Cut him some slack. And I think, even if she said to her mom, I'm turned off, instead of like, he never goes to work, those are two different ways to look at it.
Right. Because again, no one is technically doing anything wrong, but, and then that's what we talk about, all about owning your standards. It's like, what is hot to me in a relationship? I don't like when someone is taking a lot and basically living in my apartment, not paying any rent, lives with their parents, and doesn't feel any drive to change that. She's basically saying there's two issues. One is the state of the situation, which is that he lives with his parents and they're in her small 1-bedroom. Right. And the other is that he doesn't particularly feel moved to contribute.
Well, he doesn't care. He's in no rush to get to somewhere that she's like closer to than farther away from. Right. She's like, hey, the next step's coming. And you're like, come on, and you're like, that can be a turnoff, is that he doesn't even like care to like hurry up the process to go towards moving in,
Yeah. Well, it's funny because she's 26 and he's 25. Not that that's like a big age difference, but that's why, so many women are people try to convince them to date older people.
Well,
because they're like, because a lot of the times they are like a little bit, they're moving faster, or and someone who's younger than you might not be, is taking their time.
A 25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman are two different species.
Yeah.
Those are not one and the same. I don't care if you're the same age, and you might have the exception.
Especially that age. Yes.
Especially that. Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I was 25. I did my first open mic. There was never a thought in my brain of like, well, when will I get married? There was no thought of like, well, I got a date. No, it was all open mic all the time. That's all I care about. That's all I want to do. Right. If I happen to meet a girl in the process, fine. Maybe she'll surprise me. That's probably why I'm 37 sitting here single in front of you today. But that is, I say this to people all the time. When my friends were getting married, engaged, I was at open mics and doing other things. And, that's not to say they weren't building their careers too, but theirs were from 9 to 5, and then you could go out at night and, have a different type of lifestyle that matched up with people. So priorities, that's what this is about.
Yeah. And she's probably thinking like, okay, if it's like this now, what if we have kids? What's his going to be? What's his attitude about that going to be? What's his, is he going to be okay with me doing all the everything? And he's just chilling. Like,
she is not his priority.
Yeah, well, that's the issue.
Sorry.
Right. So I think for her, I would have that discussion seriously. And like, again, there are way dumber things to break up over than a difference in lifestyle.
Right. Well, that's the kinder way to put it. It is funny. It was written in the title is he a deadbeat or am I a ball buster? The reality is we have two lifestyle choices, neither of which are wrong, you know? Right. And that's like the thing that like doesn't get the retweets, doesn't get, you know, you're going to see a woman on TikTok. If he doesn't get a job, he's a piece of shit. That gets you retweets. That gets you off. This is a very like not exciting answer to her question.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like it's if you can find somewhere to meet in the middle, something that he's willing to do and you're willing to accept, then that's one thing. But if he's cool with how he is and you're kind of like not at all,
right,
then it's not really going to work.
You know what doesn't make me wet? The idea that you are sleeping in your race car bed every night.
At your mom's house. And she's doing your laundry.
Right.
And then you come here with your clean laundry.
Right.
And you sleep here 5 nights a week. 6 nights a week.
It's funny that didn't, and I'm paying. That didn't really speak to me as much as the. It is funny because I didn't think of it that way. I was like, I guess he is really mooching.
Well, I could say she's like, I'm paying the rent. You're living with you're living here, but pretending you're living with your parents, and like it feels a little unfair.
And you don't seem to care.
Yeah. Right. It doesn't bother you that's the scenario. You're not like picking up other things. Even.
Right. He's like, what? Mama's lasagna is delicious.
We're heavy on the Italian accents in this episode and the Sunday one.
Sunday, we really get into Italy. Let's do some awkward sex. You ready?
I'm ready.
Dear J&J, longtime listener, recent paying subscriber. Hit that bell, Maddie. I find myself listening to you guys all the time. First thing when I wake up in the morning and even when at the gym. Ooh, it's like I'm working out with you. Thank you for constantly entertaining me. I have an awkward sex story for you. But first, I want to give Jared a shout out. Oh, okay. Let me get my ears ready. Give Jared a shout out for being from Needham.
Good job, Jared.
Thank
you did it.
Thank you. As I, too, grew up in Needham and love the little bits we get to hear about you growing up there. Well, hello, fellow Rocket.
Is that your school mascot?
The Needham Rockets.
Huh.
You
were the Roslyn Bulldogs.
I knew that. The Bulldogs. Yeah, I remember. I think I knew someone who was a Bulldog. We were the Needham Rockets. You need them? Okay. We got them.
Oh, wow. So you guys sell used cars at this high school?
Yeah, we specialized in stealing people's money. Listen, I hope you enjoy Cafe Fresh and all the Needham stuff. Isn't it hilarious that the one reference I had for Needham was the bagel shop? I can agree. Great place to live and raise a family. Between you and Allie Raisman, it seems like Needham gives rise to a lot of celebs.
Is this woman the Needham tourism like on the board?
Well, I mean, she's put me in the same sentence as an Olympic gold medalist, multi-gold medalist, Allie Raisman. Do you know who she is?
Yeah, she's the gymnast.
We used to live, my parents used to live right near Allie Raisman Way.
Were you guys in, she has a street?
Waiting on my street. Now that I've been named with, Allie.
Were you guys ever at doing gymnastics together?
We didn't take gymnastics together. I was older. I was more of a ribbon dancer than a gymnast. I'm a huge Allie fan. You don't realize until you have an Olympian from your town how fucking cool that is. It is cool. Like huge Allie, also Jewish. Like this was a big part of the story. I think her uncle played basketball with my dad at the JCC.
Okay.
This got very Jewy right away. I know we're in the awkward sex.
The JCC.
The J, yeah.
Okay.
I'm a proud Allie Raisman supporter.
Good for you. It's nice. Who else is? What other famous alum do you?
Robbie Ftorek, who was the coach of the Bruins. He was a famous hockey player. Steve Hauschka, Super Bowl champ. Him and I played lacrosse together in high school. He was a kicker for the Seahawks.
Wow, a lot of athletes at your
and me. And
my high school,
unathletic me.
Not a ton of athletes.
No, you guys probably had like a lot of like famous bankers and
we
lawyers.
had Bernie Madoff's sons went to Roslyn High School.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
You know, we've got all the white collar criminals.
Right. Beautiful.
Yes.
That's great. I'm trying to think. I'm naming people in my generation, so I don't know all the. Robert Fatork's older, but I don't know all the celebs from Needham. I should look at that list.
Yeah. Next time we'll do a breakdown.
Right. Name drop. I was at a bar with Michael Che, and he went to like the Fame School in New York City. It's like
It's called the Fame School.
It's the school that was profiled in Fame, the movie.
Okay.
It's basically an arts high school. And talking about celebs, like you go to that list, and it's like
everyone.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Madonna, like Jennifer Aniston, and it's like, yeah, we have like one athlete.
Sounds like a couple.
No, Needham's out there. So go Rockets. Here's my awkward sex story from a few years back in college. Let's get to the fucking. Okay. That still makes me cringe to this day. I had been flirty friends with a guy, let's call him Adam, since freshman year. Adam lived in one of the party frats on campus. Well, the sexual tension had been brewing for a while in our quote-unquote friendship, and one night, one thing led to another, and he brought me up to his room during one of the frat parties, and we wound up sleeping together. A tale as old as time. Is that
Sound like Celine Dion, yeah. Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my God.
She sings that.
Thank you. When I woke up in the morning, I realized I had gotten my period. Note, day 1 equals heavy flow. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it usually starts heavier.
So that's day 1's heavy
Tapers
day.
off.
Okay. Overnight, and the blood was all over his sheets. It was the first day of spring break, and Adam had to catch a flight that morning to go home, and I felt like I had no option but to hang around and wash the sheets.
She had other options. She
Yeah.
had other options.
Right, just throw him away. He doesn't give a fuck. He woke up, gotta go.
Right.
Good
She's going
luck.
down to the frat, like laundry room.
She's Cinderella in the basement of the frat.
Note to anyone listening: if you're in college and you do anything to a guy's sheets, do not stay at the frat and clean
Get
them.
out of there.
Yes.
Get out of there. Take them to the garbage. They haven't washed them. Why should you?
Yeah. Also, great point. And I would be shocked to see any guy washing his sheets at the sorority.
Oh, did I come in the sheets?
Yeah. Oh, let me bring them down.
Yeah, no.
Not
I was
gonna happen.
shooting it everywhere and being like, good luck with that one. Ta-ta. So funny. It was the first day. Okay, so the other stragglers who were still on campus at the frat house that morning saw me going up and down the stairs doing the sheets. You're not the maid.
Yeah, I don't understand.
They're watching you? Which is a weird morning after activity to be seen doing. If that weren't mortifying enough, it was what happened a few months later. I had recently begun a hookup situationship with another guy. Let's call him Matt. Matt lived in the campus dorms, but also was a member of the same frat as Adam. The semester had ended the day before, signifying the beginning of summer break. And once again, I was one of the last stragglers to be on campus. Someone's mom needs to get there and pick her up.
Right.
Matt was all
just staying, living at the school, doing everyone's laundry.
Right. Matt was also still on campus, and he suggested we hang out. However, since the dorms had closed the day before, he was crashing at his frat house and invited me over to the frat house. We started hooking up and eventually made our way to one of the rooms. He said he'd check with one of his buddies that it was okay for us to crash there, and I didn't think too much of it. Well, it's because it's a frat house. Mid-hookup, to my dismay, I asked Matt, wait, is this Adam's room? Adam, a.k.a. the guy whose sheets I had bled all over a few months prior. He said it was indeed Adam's room and that Adam had already left to go home for summer vacation. Adam gets out of there quick, and that it was fine that we stayed in his bed that night. I reluctantly tried to put that out of my mind and had a great night with Matt in Adam's bed. It's kind of wrong.
Yeah.
A little sexy, kind of hot.
Yeah.
I could understand how she's
familiar with
that.
the sheets. She knows what detergent's being used.
Right,
you know,
it's good on her skin.
Exactly.
But this time it was in Adam's. The next morning, so she's with Matt in Adam's bed. The next morning, to my horror, I realized I had gotten my period again all over the sheets.
This girl needs a calendar.
Right.
Of the of her when her period is supposed to arrive.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it, I guess, at this young age, is the period a surprise like this?
Usually it's like a monthly cycle. You have a sense. If you're on birth control, you know like pretty much the exact time it's coming.
Right.
But
so
I don't know. Maybe not.
She's like, I just imagine her,
She's no idea. Yeah.
Woe is me. What is this?
She needs to get like a calendar.
Like an app.
A calendar system app, yeah.
But this time it was, okay, so again, all over the sheets, but this time it was in Adam's bed, but with a different guy. What's even crazier is Matt had to leave early the next morning to catch a flight home for summer break.
Are you sure this word hasn't just gotten around that you do great laundry? And they're like, just if you leave early, she'll do the sheets.
Hey, the detergent's under the bed. I gotta get going. Also, the windows need a little dusting.
Exactly. I hear you have a special method to put the dryer. It gets them just really crisp. Right. You could.
I don't need the chocolate on the pillow this time. I'm gonna be gone for the summer. It's amazing.
Crazy.
I couldn't believe this was happening to me again. To make things worse, as I went to go to the laundry once again. Leave. You don't have to do this fucking laundry.
Especially he's gone for the summer.
Right.
They're going to have no idea whose it is.
Let that blood harden on the sheets.
Let the new kid next year who picks up the room do it.
There was a fancy catered alumni brunch going on in the frat that morning. I was there doing laundry in my skimpy frat outfit while all these men in suits were eating a catered meal and reminiscing about their college days together. Needless to say, I never went back to that frat again, although Adam's sheets were permanently stained after that second incident. He never mentioned anything to me or Matt, and I don't think he ever found out what happened. Sincerely, Bleeding Love.
Yeah, this is crazy.
She's
the craziest part of the whole thing, clearly. But
right. She's a very nice person.
She's too nice.
She's too nice.
This would be a good example of what I would say. Too nice.
Right.
You don't have to do this.
The idea that I couldn't get the stains out. I'm sorry, guys.
That's the price they pay.
Right. Listen, they are so pumped that they're scored with a chick. High fives all around. She's like, well, they noticed the blood on the sheet. They don't care. It's fucking throw them away.
Yeah.
Toss.
I call this the laundress.
I call this I do laundry.
Oh, yeah, I like
that. Maddie had some name ideas. Blood Brothers, Frat Laundromat. It's all, this is a wild tale. It is very and I do understand, you're young.
Does she even know where everything is?
I don't even know. I don't even know if I knew how to do laundry in my fraternity.
This is going to be someone who, when she gets to is going to be just such a good house guest.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah. She'll be the easiest. Just
I want to Airbnb a home that I own to her.
Right. Did Rachel make the beds? Right. It'll be one of those, right?
Impressive. Yeah. She has a career potentially in hospitality.
One time I had
did anyone ever do their laundry in your?
No, but one time I had a girl sleep at my family's house, and it was noted to me that I was just leaving everything out. It wasn't.
She left. Okay, she wasn't neat enough.
Wasn't clean enough on the way out. And
what did she leave out?
I don't even remember. This might be my mom's problem more than the person's problem.
She was a random person.
No, this was someone I was dating, and then my mom took notice that we're just leaving everything out. I guess we're just we don't fold.
That's good to know. Now I'm getting anxious flashbacks about anyone's house that I was in that I ever had someone talking shit about me.
Right. It's just such a mom talk shit thing.
Well, this woman, your mom would probably love.
She's good to go.
I'm sure she's not leaving any marks on the floor.
Unless it's blood.
Exactly.
Unless
she's got a very regular flow. Yeah. Right? Good for her.
Good for her.
All right.
Happy she sent it in. Red flag or deal breaker, the guy makes a mess of your sheets, doesn't clean them. Doesn't offer to pay.
What does he do with the sheets? Is he peeing in them?
He peed them.
He should offer to replace the sheets or something. He should offer something.
Right.
If she I think it'd be nice for her to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let me know if I can help with new sheets." I would never do the laundry. I wouldn't expect anyone to do the laundry.
I've been with women who have gotten their period in my bed, and I would.
An offer is nice.
It never would have crossed my mind.
It'd be weird for you to accept it, but
yeah. Even if they offered, I'd be like,
I'll send you the bill.
I would. I'll Venmo you. Yes. What do you even put on the Venmo? You know,
period sheets.
Just one large circle, red circle.
Wasn't that a scene in like Superbad where they go to the mall after so that he can like replace her sheets because he throws up all over them?
Superbad, he gets period on his leg.
Yes, but then there's like something where they spill on the sheets, and then the whole like the ending scene is them going to the mall to like. I think it's one of the girls throws up on the other girl. I think she threw up on the bed.
Right.
It was the other girl's house. And she was like, they were like going to the mall so she could buy her new sheets.
That's what got them all back together for the day after hang.
Exactly. Great movie.
One of the best.
Such a good movie.
So good. We've talked about it here, but it's just like some of that's got to be timing. Like, do you think a high school, college kid watches Superbad today and is like, oh my God, or are they like, have no relation to it?
I think they probably still think it's funny.
I would hope so.
Right? So similar.
I pray to the comedy gods.
Same.
Let's do another email.
Hey J&J, I'm a relatively new listener to You Up and Oversharing, and I'm hooked. I love the fact that I'll be laughing out loud in the middle of Target, walking my dog, or while getting my nails done. Love it. I'm a 35-year-old female that's been on and off the dating apps for the past 7-ish years. I've done a lot of work on myself during that time and continue to do so. With the help of therapy, books on dating and attachment styles, and your podcast, I have been walking into the 2023 dating scene with a much better understanding of myself and what I'm looking for in a boyfriend. Let's be real, a future husband.
Okay.
I'm trying to overcome, or at the very least understand, my anxious attachment style. I'm an introvert with a mentally and emotionally draining job, but I'm not always on my phone because I need time to recharge. Lately, I've had a few guys misread my inconsistent texting or not responding quickly on the apps as disinterest, and it's made me feel incredibly defensive. One guy has texted, "You don't seem interested in texting," or "Did you lose interest?" simply because I didn't reply to a text right away, and after I had already explained my boundaries with my phone. The conversations have been super basic along the lines of, what are you up to? Or how's your day? Super riveting stuff. Each time these guys would bring it up, I felt annoyed that I had to explain myself. I get it. We live in a world of instant connection and people are used to others being on their phones all the time. I too am of the mindset that everybody poops, aka we all have time to check our phones while we are on the toilet. But this constant questioning of my motives rubs me the wrong way. I feel like I'm explaining to my mom where I am and what I'm doing. Which leads me to my question for you dating gurus. Do I have the right to be annoyed or frustrated by this behavior? Do these guys just lack confidence and need constant validation? Or am I just getting better at noticing other people's anxious attachment behaviors? Excited to hear your insights. Miscommunication.
I like this email.
I find her a little annoying.
She's a little annoying.
Yeah.
I think she's like, there's such a thing as like too much reading up on the topic.
This is a little over analytical of whatever. Because also, like, she says she has an anxious attachment style, but like nothing that she's saying is really indicating that to me.
Right. Well, she has an anxious attachment style and then is getting mad at people for having an anxious attachment style.
Right. You think she'd be a little more sympathetic to people who are like anxiously wondering why she's not answering their text if she too is anxious.
Right. And I'll say this from the other side. If someone sent me this like Surgeon General's warning of their texting habits, I do understand why they're like, hey, I'm just seeing if this is you not being a texter or you not liking me. I don't want to bother someone. So
you might need to take if that's you're telling someone that, you might need to take the reins to make sure that the other person's more comfortable.
Right.
By saying, when you do respond, being enthusiastic.
Right. And showing like, I'm happy to hear from you. Because I would, because I was thinking, I was like, I can understand. Like, hey, are we in bothering you land? Or is this just how you text land?
Totally. I used to say that when I was dating. Like, I feel like your response either needs to be like delayed and very enthusiastic or immediate and fine.
Right. I agree with that. And also it can be too early to let people know what type of texter you are.
Right.
So it doesn't seem like she knows these people very well enough for like her to have sent, just so you know, before you deal with me. Like if I got like this like weird, like before we head into this texting relationship, you got to know a couple things. I ain't getting back to you, and don't be a little bitch about it, because that's bitchy behavior. You know, like I would be.
I think the correct time to say that is if someone's messaging you, and then you don't answer for a while, and you say, "Hey, sorry, I when I'm at work, I can't really be on my phone. Sorry, it took me so long to respond."
Right.
like that's like a normal way of answering someone.
And maybe even a like but I'm happy to hear from you.
Right.
Like
that's what I'm
maybe
saying.
some excitement.
Right. Yeah. Something enthusiastic.
Right. And I would also add into this. She says, do I have the right to be annoyed or frustrated by this behavior? You have a right to be not into it. Like, sure. I think like the annoyed and frustrated is like you have to deal with these people. You don't have to deal with anyone you meet on dating apps. You don't have to deal with someone you're dating with that you're over it with. Hey, not my match.
Not for you.
It's not so personal. So I think like when you say like I get defensive and can I be annoyed or frustrated? I think we're all annoyed and frustrated with the act of kind of dating in general. It's not these people's faults.
Yeah. Well, she writes, do these guys just lack confidence and need constant validation? I would say that's not the case at all. It's someone actually who's respecting themselves, right. Who's like, oh, this person isn't answering me. Let me see if they're still interested or not. And if not, I can move on.
Right. Right. Like free me.
And if it's happening to her frequently, to me, it's like something she's doing potentially.
Right. And I did. And just like I guess like that's why I like the email because it kind of like told us a little bit about her too. Like you're a little bit mean to these guys.
Yeah. If someone wasn't texting me back, I would say like, hey, just wanted to make sure you're like still. Like, are you still in? Or
right. Like, and if I text someone, how was your day? And they were like super riveting stuff.
Right.
I'm like, well, fuck off.
Or maybe
I'm just trying to talk to you.
Yeah. Maybe they're saying that also because maybe they're asking you these questions because they're not getting anything from you.
Right.
Maybe you're the problem.
It's me. It's me. I'm the problem, it's me.
As someone who's just like texted with guys who are like non-responsive, like to me that she's like, oh, are they asking why they're not why I'm not responsive because they're so like needy and need constant validation? It's like, oh, someone answering your text in under 10 hours is not like constant validation and neediness.
Right. There's a point where it's like, let's admit to who we are. Mm-hmm. You're not a texter. That's fine. But like, let's not act like one time I showed someone a picture. I'll never, this like bothered me so much. I showed someone a picture of hummus.
Right.
And they were like, oh, what is that? Oh, I'm like, that's one of the number one things people eat in the country. Like, I don't know what, like you don't like the look of something everyone is eating.
Right.
You know, like to go this.
Have some self-awareness.
I don't like tuna fish. I don't see a tuna.
I do.
Some people do.
I do.
I'd be the ridiculous one. You have to understand, like, it's okay to be different than everyone else, but like acknowledge,
right?
You're a little bit different in
probably
this.
You, because I don't know. It's just I think she's kind of annoying.
We love that she emailed in.
Thank you for emailing in.
I think someone out there will relate to this.
Well, it'd be like, let's say someone was dating you, and you were like, just so you know, like I do shows like 5-6 nights a week. And then someone asked you for plans on like a Tuesday at 8 and you being like, what are you fucking constantly, I have to tell you where I am all the time. It's like, right. No, that's like most people are not in your situation.
Right.
And like, you have to be a little open-minded about that.
And you do get a vibe over text. You get this idea that I tweeted this the other day and it was like the idea of like, oh, you don't know the tone in this room. Everyone knows the tone of the group chat. Yeah. You know, like, unless you're dealing, tonal issues are your issue, which that's something that could be out there. I totally understand that. But most people are like, yeah, I kind of see what the vibe is here. Like, I remember like I was texting with this girl, we were going great. And then all of a sudden her text changed. And I was like, and I did do it like hey, we cool? And it was like, she was like, no, we're not. It's over. Like I'm
well, that's a mature way of handling it.
Right. She was like, and then I remember in her text, she wrote,
mad at you?
No, not mad at me. She was just like, I think we want different things. And then I go, it was a dumping of sorts. But I remember she wrote in her text, like, you probably haven't noticed that I've been a little bit off. It's like, oh, I fucking noticed.
Right.
You notice something.
Even I hate when people tell you what you have or haven't noticed. I've gotten that from a guy. It's like, you probably noticed that I've been distant lately. I'm like, I guess in addition to being dumped, I'm also just not astute and delusional. I'm like,
I got a lot wrong with me today.
I'm like, don't tell me what I probably have or haven't noticed. Like, I'll take care of it. Just tell me what you think.
That is the one thing that this podcast has shown me the most. Speaking me terms, speaking I terms. If you're gonna end something that you want to be political,
you probably knew this was coming, unless you're fucking stupid. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't date idiots, so you probably knew.
Ready to play some games? Let's get into Faux Pas or Nah, presented by Faux Pas Canned Cocktails. Every single Faux Pas can is based on a tried and true cocktail. Vodka soda, margarita, tequila soda, and mule. You can't go wrong. And it goes without saying on the show that we are into keeping it real, which is why there's only real vodka or real Blanco tequila and no artificial flavors or gluten in these drinks. Now let's keep it real with some Faux Pas or Nah.
If you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding an ice cold spicy mango margarita. Delish.
So good.
Cold
best
as
one.
ice. This is the best one. I do like
this
this one.
Bestseller.
It's a bestseller?
Yes.
It is great. It is wonderful. This is the time of year where you want to change your mindset.
Yes.
And I do believe this type of drink, because it's a little bit of a summerish cocktail. Nuh-uh. You have it now. You are in the mental beach by noon.
The light summer mode.
So we're playing Faux Pas or Nah today. We're deciding whether it's a faux pas or nah. We got our paddles with us. You want me to read the first one?
Sure.
J&J, just getting home from a first date. Overall, a great date.
I love the idea that people are coming home from first dates, and before they take their bras off, they're emailing us.
I do it before every time I take my bra off. Overall, great date. Met at a bar, played pool. I got second round of drinks, but he ended up putting everything on his card when I went to the bathroom. So we went to another place for food. He ordered bourbon for us. Apparently it's really nice, hard to find, etc. It tasted great. So the bartender asked one check or two. He said one, and I said, want to pay. I said I want to pay since you got the drinks at the first place. He was like, oh no. And so he was like, oh no. And so I teased whoever gets it out first. He fumbled around, but got his credit card out as well. And we handed the bartender both of them and said, pick one. She picked mine. Again, I don't mind, until I saw the total. For 2 burgers and 2 pours of bourbon, it was $110. The bourbon alone was $70. I was pissed and immediately addressed it like, holy shit, that was expensive. It was awkward after that. I was clearly upset, did half-ass hug. I said my car was up 1 block. He goes, safe travels. I said my car was 1 block up. He goes, safe travels, 1 block. I guess he said have safe.
Maybe it's a joke, like have safe travels for the block.
Right. Okay. I'm sure he could tell I was not inviting him to walk with me. On the way home, he called and said, I'm sorry. I know that was a lot. I feel bad. I knew what I was ordering. I said, lesson learned. I was trying to be nice since you got the drinks at the first place. So faux pas or nah, he knew what he ordered. I feel like he should have pushed to pay for this. Thanks, advice. Balling on a budget. What do you think?
I think she's the problem.
Absolutely.
She's awful.
Awful.
He did everything right.
We can't stand her. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think she's like really annoying. If you're gonna insist, which it sounded like she was doing, on paying, and it wasn't like it was like $1,000. I get $110 is like expensive,
right?
For the amount that they got, but it's not like the most outrageous. How much should she expect it to be? 70 for dinner?
Eat
2 burgers and get over it.
You fucked up.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
Don't make him feel bad because you insisted on paying and then paying for that. I think he should not go out with her again.
I'm kind of with you. Talk shit, get bit. She not only like
if you're not willing to pay, don't offer.
And it's not even the him letting you pay. First of all, this fight to get out the credit card, it
was her idea.
Your idea. So you made this bed. And then for you to pout and to say, if someone was like, I'm paying, I got it.
And then
whoever
they
gets it out
called you.
first. And then to say, that's expensive as you're paying for it, I'd be like, this cheap fuck.
And then someone says, and then he says, I'm sorry. And then he calls you to apologize, say, I'm sorry, there's a law, I feel bad. And then she said, lesson learned?
Right.
Fuck this bitch. I am like very not a big fan of
And then
hers.
she writes to us before taking off her bra?
Right? Thinking that he's wrong?
Right.
That's crazy.
Let's see what J&J think.
What
we
do you
think
want
you're wrong.
She wanted him to wrestle the card out of her hand to say absolutely not. He told you it was like a very special bourbon. It's not like he was pretending it was cheap.
He's all. I feel bad for this guy because he's like, I knew the whole time. It's like, no, dude, you ordered. You even mentioned He mentioned the specialty of it.
And he was planning on paying for it, but she insisted.
Right. Listen.
Lesson
sometimes
learned?
Lesson learned. You should have said lesson learned to yourself.
Yeah,
oh, I won't do that again. I'm not going to
him.
write I was writing checks I couldn't cash.
Yeah.
And 2 burgers, 2 pours. That's what it is. Like that's maybe you'll look at the menu next time you decide to get be Tommy Tough Nuts and pull out your card.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
You guys seen the inflation rate? What did you think it was going to be? It's not that crazy.
I've made this mistake, and what you do is you eat it.
Yeah.
I've made this mistake. Yes. I have done this where I'll never forget it. I was 24 years old. My friend, she was like seeing this guy, and he was like loaded, I guess. He's like, and she was like, come out with us. We go out to clubs, and I'm not a clubber, but I'm like, and she's like, you gotta come with us. He gets all these bottles. It's
and I
women.
assume they're paying for it, right?
Right. And I go, well, I'll go. But I felt like such a piece of shit. Like I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy. So I look at he's getting bottles
so
and this.
Offer.
So I pulled the waitress aside. I go, next bottle, get on me. I got it.
Dangerous.
Right. I'm fucking, big shot.
Yeah.
Cause he did buy like 5 bottles and I had no idea how much they cost. I was just like, I'm assuming this guy's spending what, $100?
At a club?
I'm an idiot. I'm 24. I had no fucking, I'm like this woman fucking. Right. So I go and she comes back and I go, just put it on this card. Like, and he comes back, it was like $500. And I was like, oh my God. I couldn't say to anybody, like I couldn't go up to him and be like, you're buying $500 bottles of, yeah, Jared, you're a fucking idiot. Eat it.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned to me.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not saying this mistake is totally reasonable. It's not eating the mistake.
Right. And then making the other person who again was trying to pay for it feel bad about it.
We're going to call him, make sure he doesn't go out with you
Seriously.
again. You're going to be alone forever. Faux pas.
No, it's faux pas for her, but she's saying for him. Nah for him.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's a big fat nah. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Faux pas or nah. Their dog destroys something of yours and they don't offer to replace it. Your rant about dog people on the December 22nd episode got me thinking about a date I went on a year ago. I went on a 3rd date with a guy that consisted of a nature walk on the trails near his house, followed by dinner at a nearby restaurant.
Let me stop you right now. The pre-dinner nature walk is a faux pas.
Is this third date?
I don't give a fuck what date it is. I don't want sweaty nuts before I eat.
Depends on the extent of the nature walk.
Okay, fine.
I wasn't sure what the terrain would be like on the walk, so I brought 2 different pairs of shoes. That's kind of annoying, yeah. One for the walk and another for dinner.
He doesn't warn you
about the terrain?
Terrain. Yeah, nature walk could be like...
Well, you can't ask a guy that stuff anyway, because they're not going to be able to tell you, like, heels or flats. Like...
What?
Right.
I don't even know the meaning of those 2 words.
I could understand her desire to bring those 2, but if I had to, I'd just suggest skipping the walk if I were her.
Right.
When we got back from dinner, his dog had completely shredded my running shoes. I got nothing more than a half-assed apology. It wasn't a deal breaker for me in the moment. We went on one more date, and he texted me a few days later to end it. But I feel as if I may have dodged a bullet. Would love to know your thoughts. Sincerely, not a dog mom.
If someone's dog, here's the thing. If someone's dog just tore apart my shoes, I would want more than a half-ass apology, but I don't want them buying me shoes.
I want them to offer. I don't want them to actually buy it.
Right. I agree with that. I would feel uncomfortable.
It's always about the offer, except for with that girl.
Right.
But yeah, if someone was like, "Oh, that sucks," like even like if I had a dog and it bit a guy's shoes, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm happy to replace them." It's even just I'm happy to replace them, and then no follow up, still fine.
I agree with that. It's when dog people don't act like it's them who made the fuck up. When your dog fucks up, you fucked up.
Right.
So when the
It's your
dog jumps
responsibility.
on me, oh, he's a little bit of a rambunctious. Oh, no. You're a bad owner of the dog who's too rambunctious.
Yes.
Like, and it always turns into, oh, you must hate dogs. No, I hate you.
Do you feel the same way about babies in a plane?
Not as much.
You know what's weird? I keep seeing all this stuff about debate about like babies in first class
Really?
or something. I was wondering what your take on that was.
I used to do a joke about it.
Like there's people who are opposed.
I'm not opposed to it. I think of, I think differently of the kid.
But or is it the parent? But it's like a dog. Is it not the parent?
Well, it is the parent, but I'm like, if the parent can do it, I kind of don't fault them. Especially, here's where baby in first class wasn't, it would anger me more if they were, I guess it doesn't anger me at all. It actually,
I agree.
it actually, like if you're paying for it, I was going to say if they got bumped up, I'd be like, fuck this baby that got bumped up ahead of me. Had the baby have more miles? But
How did the baby get medallion status in its 3 short months of life?
right. This kid goes to China twice a month.
He's in a little baby suit.
Boss baby.
His briefcase.
Excuse me, konnichiwa. He looks at the flight attendant. I'll have a sake.
You just don't like richer babies than you.
Yeah, but then I go, well, the parent obviously traveled a lot to be able to have the companion status to get their baby up there. I'm okay with people paying money for things that I don't pay money for. So life sucks. Life's unfair. So I don't know. This whole Nepo baby thing has gotten a little out of control. Like,
I think it's a little drawn out.
I think it's drawn out, and I think like the Nepo child thing, to me, it's like now they've kind of owned it. So now like we're like now we're people aren't like, here's the thing. We live in a direct to consumer world because of the internet. So you have the right to follow, unfollow people and give your dollar, don't give your dollar. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to me that like people are like, "Ooh, that's a Nepo baby," and then they still continue to follow them on
right. If you
Twitter.
Don't like it, unfollow.
Then you unfollow. Then that's your dollar being removed from them. Like if you have a problem with someone's like upbringing,
money talks, right?
Money talk, bullshit walk.
Exactly.
And so with the baby in first class, I'm okay with it. But I can understand if someone says like, I will not fly an airline with babies. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll go find a new fucking airline.
So back to the red flag or deal breaker.
Right.
Someone you go on a nature walk, which you would never do. Someone's dog eats your shoes. They don't offer anything. Half-assed apology.
The half-assed apology, faux pas enough that I'm out.
Agreed. Faux pas.
Faux pas because it's all about the apology. Okay, ready to do one more?
I'm ready.
Faux pas or nah? I matched with a guy. I'm also not. I wasn't a first class baby.
Neither was I.
I'm taking the side of a baby that, like, I'm trying to think if I would fly. Would you fly your kids first class?
No.
Never.
No, they can unless they're too young to sit alone.
Okay, so they can sit in the seat with you in first class.
Yes, if they're too young to fly alone. But once they're of the age where they don't need like constant chaperoning, fuck them. They're not sitting in first class.
Would you sit in first class and them in the back, you in first class? Would you do that? Would you do the Kevin McAllister version, the Home Alone 2?
Oh, 100, yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I would do.
I think I would do that too. My dad used to do that. My dad used to go over to first class and it would be me, my brother, my mom.
Your mom?
Fuck off. Like, I'm out of here.
Mom, wow.
That's
different.
That had happened.
That I wouldn't be cool with. But, the kids can be. No,
my parents,
on my honeymoon,
yeah.
we like found some points deal, like, figured out like a way, whatever. We flew first class for our honeymoon, and this was me finagling 16 different points to move in 17 different directions to get these points. And you're up there in first class. We're in first class, and then there's like this family of like 4 with these like 6-year-olds just fucking around in first class. I'm like, you don't deserve to be here.
Get them the fuck out.
Get out.
Yeah, it is. You do look at the family differently. Listen. I am from all sorts of privilege, have been treated to many things from my parents that I am very lucky to have. I am the first to admit it.
Yes, it's all relative.
Well, It's all relative, but it also, that's why I think it's interesting when I see people not admit it. And then you get like that's where the Nepo baby thing always like, I'm always looking at that with an interested eye.
Right.
I'm like,
well, I mean, everyone's a Nepo baby to someone.
Right.
Unless you're not, but like many people are.
Right. Yeah. And so I always, when I see
privilege
people,
is like not a binary thing.
Oh, it's on a spectrum completely.
Yeah.
And it's on a spectrum that includes, I do believe, how much you admit to it.
Right. That's
like,
the
what
whole
are you
thing.
hiding?
Self-awareness. You think about it. Right.
Because you do see to me, the cover-up's worse than the crime. You know, like, and there's no crime to being rich. There's a crime to like, hey, everybody, we're all in this together when they're like on their yacht. Right. Like that kind of happened during the pandemic a lot.
Yeah. You just need to admit right. what it is, and then you can do whatever you want.
I was the owner of 2 Power Wheels growing up.
Wow.
Just want to admit it right now.
Impressive.
Okay. Just letting everyone know.
Like the little kid truck things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Power Wheels?
Oh, nice. I had to share all the toys with all my siblings. I was basically in an orphanage. Anyway,
gross.
Go on.
Okay. Hi, J&J. Faux Pas or not. I matched with a guy on Bumble. We went and met for drinks at a bar around the corner from my house. It was going well, so I invited him back to my house at the end of the night. We were laying in bed naked, and he said, "Can I fart?" A gentleman. And I said...
He asked for consent.
Yes. Hey. Can I fart? Hey. I'm just mad.
Can I fart? Hey. No.
Hey, just, that was a lot of fun. I just have to ask you something. Can I squirt out a fart?
No.
And I said no. And then this man I just met continued to rip out a huge fart in my bed. Please dissect this as I am newly back in the dating game. XO.
No.
That is a faux.
That should be part of the Me Too movement. He asked for consent. She said no, and he did it anyway.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I'm just saying.
It's a fair point.
She said no.
I'll never forget. This makes me sound really bad. You ready? Okay.
Is this your own?
This is my own.
Fart 2 movement?
I was
not gonna get in trouble for this.
You're not gonna get in trouble. I slept at this girl's house. I'll never forget it. We were having fun. We were just like, we had this very laughy.
Oh, okay.
I've told this story. So she had this bed frame that was like a very kind of French looking with like bars on the back.
Okay.
So I was in the bed. We're having fun. We're talking,
This
and
is
I
why
just
you're not allowed in France.
Well, yeah, this has gotten me excommunicated. I'll never forget. She went to the bathroom. She came back, and I just thought it was like, I got caught up with all the laughs and fun, and I just took my legs, flipped them behind my ears, put my toes like I was a koala marsupial, grabbed the iron rod of the bed frame, and had my ass out and farted directly at. And she was like, "What the fuck did you just do?" And I was like, I thought that was fucking hilarious. And I'm dying laughing. She was like horrified. She's like, the joke has gone way beyond anywhere I could ever believe. And yeah.
Do you know why that was so horrible for her? Because she was like, probably moments before that, she was thinking like, this could really be something. We're having like, I'm high. I'm like feeling emotionally, hormonally connected to this guy through the sex. Like she's envisioning like your children, like where you're meeting her parents, everything. And then you do this, you just fuck the whole thing up.
Right. And then she comes out of the bathroom. I go, hey, look at me.
You put a metaphorical like pop, like needle pop into like that, like, when they have in the cartoons, like the daydream.
The bubble, the thought bubble. Yes. Yeah.
She's like, all right, I guess that's not happening here. This guy.
We were always on good terms.
Okay. So she says.
Well, it's funny. Like that person's probably out there with like a family and a baby, and she's like, rocking her baby, and she's like, "Thank God, it could have been so much worse. Could have been with Fartsy
McGee."
Right.
The biggest faux pas you can make: not having faux pas stocked and ready to go for your next girls' night or date night in. I love faux pas, as you know. This is a Betches drink brought to you by Betches. It has a Betches look, feel. It's funny. It's fun. It's great for not taking yourself too seriously. And you can get one too if you visit www.fauxpascocktails.com to find your favorite faux pas near you. That's FAUXPAS, and follow @drinkfauxpas on Insta so you don't miss out on any of the tequila.
Love it, love it, love it. Huge fan of Faux Pas. I mean, I'm reading the can right now. This spicy margarita has complex elements of fresh mango with hints of peach and just the right kick of responding to everyone's IG story as if it were personally directed at you. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm a huge Faux Pas fan. Go get it. Go get involved. Best time of the year to drink it because it brings you to that place.
To the summer moments, which will be right around the corner.
It's coming.
Anyway.
Right after the worst month of the year.
Exactly.
Which is also coming.
Shortly after the worst month of the year. That's it for today. We will see you on Sunday.
Boom.
The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales-Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.